Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on my channel today. Today is going to be my part 2 to my Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Vault Collection tutorials. In my first video, I did an eyeshadow look using the Dark Magic palette. If you haven't seen that video, it will be linked down below, or I'll have it linked on the screen. Watch that video first so you can see my opinions on this palette. But today we're going to create this look using the Bling Boss palette from that collection. This palette is a purple jewel tone palette with a mix of shimmers and mattes. So if you're interested to see how I got this look and my opinions on this palette, keep on watching. As always, my eyebrows are done. I use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the color black. I carved them out with my LA Girl Pro Concealer. I also use it as my eyeshadow base, and I set everything, lids and brows, using the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. So now that I am prepped, let's begin. I'm going to go in with this Morphe blending brush from the Gold collection. This is a fluffy blending brush, like a medium-sized blending brush. Not too big, it's not too small, and this is gonna blow out the transition shade really well. I'm going to use the color Hush Hush, which is this mauve right here, and I'm gonna use that as my transition shade for today. All right, now that I got that color blended out, I can honestly say it was actually easier to blend this color out than that olive green color in the Dark Magic palette. It is a little ashy, but I think it's just because of my skin tone. If you're lighter than me, this is probably a beautiful transition shade. And I mean, I can use it, I can get away with it. But if you're deeper than me, this is definitely going to be ashy, and you should just keep that in mind when buying that palette. All right, next I'm going to pick up a Morphe M441 brush. This is actually, I think they're the same exact brush. I think that this one is probably an M441 brush, but because these aren't numbered, they're just the Gold collection. But it's the same exact size brush, just a medium size fluffy blending brush for your crease. I am going to pick up the color Rockstar right here in the middle, and I'm going to use that to deepen out my crease area. I got that as blended as I possibly could. My opinion on this color is a beautiful color. I did have to work a little harder to blend it out, and even still, I'm not 100% happy with how it blended. I'm going to pick up my Sedona Lace EB13 brush. There's no product on it, and I'm going to blend out this harsh edge a little bit more. This one's a more densely packed brush compared to this one, and this is the one I used to apply the color. So I'm going to use this to kind of buff out this harsh line and hopefully kind of get a little bit more of a blend. All right. That actually blended out pretty beautifully with this brush. So if you're going to use the color Rockstar, I would recommend using a more densely packed brush versus something loosely packed. So far so good. We're heading in a good direction. Okay. I'm then going to pick up my Luxie 249 brush. It's my dual-ended brush. So one side is a flat shader brush and the other side is a really tiny blending brush for your crease. I really enjoy this because it's super small and I have hooded eyes. So what that means is I have like an extra flap of skin here. So my lid space is really tiny, but I have a lot of space from like my crease to my brow, and this kind of just gets right into that little nugget right there and make it look amazing. So I want to show the difference in size. If you can see the Sedona lace, which is what I use to blend out that color, versus this Luxie brush, you can see how tiny this one is, and you can even see it that way. See how tiny it is compared to this one. So I really enjoy that for this outer corner. So I am going to pick up the color Mystic, which is this color right here. I'm just going to deepen out the outer V. Alright, so I'm very confused before we go on. I'm very confused because the first palette was bad. It was bad. Like, it had one beautiful shade in it, but it was bad. It was not good. And this palette, I've tried already 3 of the mattes, and they have all been pretty good, pretty impressed. So I'm impressed because the mattes in the other palette had me a little yeah. So, but let's not speak too early because we still gotta get into some of these shimmers and finish this look out, and there's still time for this to go south. So so I am going to use, as always, my Essence eyeshadow primer to carve out my crease, and I'm just going to use a really tiny concealer brush. It's super tiny, like, I don't know if you can see, but I like using a flat synthetic concealer brush, a tiny one, to carve out my crease because it's tinier. I have more precision, and I don't have a lot of eye space to work with because I have a hood. So this just helps me get right up in there and get a very crisp, clean line. Quick lesson on cut creases. I did talk about this in my other video that I did a cut crease. So basically, when you have a hooded eye, you want your cut crease to come above the hood. The reason why is so when you open your eyes, you don't get transfer from your lid to your crease area. So bringing the concealer above your hood just keeps everything looking neat. So what my hood is, so you can see, is this little crease right there. That is my hood. So I actually like to look down and I can kind of see my whole lid, and I can still see a little bit of that crease. And now I'm going to take this and then I'm going to cut it out. Alright, I'm going to do the other eye really quickly, and then we'll come back to putting on some shadow. Alright, so I'm done cutting my crease, and now it's time for the shimmers. I'm super excited about these because they look so pretty. So I want to go in with Gem, which is this beautiful purple right here, and I want to put that on the center to kind of like merge my crease to my outer V. Then I'm probably going with a lighter shade in the middle. I always use the same brush to do this in all my videos, but I will give it another introduction. This is this really tiny flat shader brush from Coastal Scents that I've had forever and a year and a day. I like using this brush because it's super tiny, and once again, I don't have a lot of a lid space, so I need something tiny that can go right in and put shadow on. So that is what I'm going to use. Alright, so that is what Gem looks like not foiled, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not. I think it's actually pretty pigmented. Part of me wants to see what it looks like foiled. we're gonna foil it because I'm curious. So I'm gonna pick that color up on that same little flat shader brush, and of course I always use my Smashbox primer water. I need to buy a new one because there's like none left. I'm gonna spray it, and then let's see how much more bling we can get from this. So I actually don't think that did too much, so these really don't need to be foiled because it doesn't really change too much of the finish. It might have made it a little bit more shiny, but like nothing crazy. So I'm going to clean this brush in my swatch, so it's nice and clean. I'm gonna go into Bling Bling, which is this color right here, and I'm gonna put that on the inner part of my eye. All right, so I think we might have hit our first kind of dud. Bling Bling is very, I don't know, the formula is really weird. Like, I'm gonna, like, first off, when you pick it up, it doesn't go on really pigmented. I had to kind of really dig into that shade, get like a chunk of it in order for it to come off. And still it's not as like whew as I thought it would be. So I'm gonna foil this and see if I can make this more pigmented in my mind. See, I don't really like these shimmers foiled. It just looks like really textured on my eyes. Yeah, Bling Bling I'm not really happy with, but like, I mean, it works. It's not as like pigmented as like, that's not even the word I want to use. It's chunky. That's a great word. It's really chunky, and like you really have to get a lot of product on your brush in order for it to be like really blinding. I mean, it works. I got it to look really pretty. So, but that's the first shade that I'm like, I'm not too happy with. So I'm gonna pick up some more of that gem color on the brush. I did clean it on my swatch and kind of blend out Bling Bling a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in with my Luxie brush with that really tiny blending brush that we used earlier, and pick up some more of that Mystic and kind of just blend out this harsh end. All right, so there is no brow bone color in this palette, so I'm going to go in with the palette that I didn't like, which is the Dark Magic palette. And I'm going to pick up the color Proof, and I'm going to use that to put on my brow bone. I'm going to use the other side now of that dual-ended Luxie brush, which is this flat shader brush, and I'm going to put that on my brow bone. All right, so I am going to finish the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'm going to come back with my final thoughts on the Bling Boss palette from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. All right, I am back, actually like an hour and a half later, because Big Brother came on and I had to watch it. So I'm done with the rest of my face. As far as what I put on my face, it's always going to be in the description box below. So I did complete my eyes like I said I was going to do off camera. I did use the NYC Liquid liner for my wing. As far as my waterline, I am using the NYX eyeliner pencil in the color Purple Violet in my waterline, and then I took that flat shader brush that I used to apply my colors on my lid, and I picked up the color Mystic right here, and I blended that out on the outer corner, and then I picked up Gem and I blended that in the inner corner. My thoughts on this palette. I'm confused because this palette right here made a beautiful look. Bling Boss. This palette is exquisite. Exquisite is what we're gonna use. I only found one shade that was a little disappointing, and it's not even that bad, is Bling Bling. It's a little chunky. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little chunky. It definitely fell out on my face. Luckily, I always do my foundation after I do my eyes. You just have to work with that shade a little bit more, but this palette right here, it is super pigmented. Do I recommend this palette? Yes, I do recommend this particular palette. They're $15 individually at Ulta, and you can buy them individually on Morphe's website as well. But this one is so nice. I'm so confused. I'm really confused on what happened in formulation. For one to be so bad and then one to be so good, I'm just like, I'm really confused. Thank you so much for watching my video and my review on Bling Boss. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification so you always know when I upload. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.